Good morning and welcome to Sabbath School for the graduating class of 2025. We are so glad that you have joined us today, and we hope that you receive a blessing from this program.
Bow your heads with me as we pray. Dear God, I thank you for everyone here today, and I ask that you fill this room with your spirit. I thank you for the wonderful Sabbath, this graduating class, the opportunity to be at Gem State, and the blessings you have provided us all. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Followed by some blessings and some answered prayers, a group of Gem Staters, including 8 of us seniors, got to go to the beautiful country of Belize. Our living situation was absolutely not American, as we stayed in classrooms that didn't have air conditioning, weren't allowed to flush toilet paper in the toilets, and had almost freezing showers every single day. Despite this, everybody came to make an impact and experience a new culture, and so that's what we did. We were given the task of painting the outside of a junior college. We had originally planned on doing more than painting, and although that's all we ended up doing, it was a task. Painting is not simple when you have hot and humid Belize sun and unworthy paintbrushes. We spent hours craning our necks up at the concrete ceiling as we painted it with roll brushes, sitting on the cement as we painted the walls, and leaning over a plastic tub filled with water that basically turned into blue milk from all the paint that we washed out of the brushes. After our time was over and the school was finished, it was so much brighter and more green looking. We were proud of what we had accomplished. One lesson that I took away from this trip was that even the most simple tasks are important and can make an impact. I would not have originally chosen to simply paint, but I'm glad that we did. I also, having the opportunity to go back the next year, got to see how nice the school looked. Besides all of that, we also had a lot of fun opportunities to go experience new things, but Nathan will tell you more about that when he comes up. There was a rumor that there was going to be another mission trip this year, although it wasn't a mission trip year. I wasn't sure it was going to happen, or if I wanted to go again. It was confirmed that the opportunity was real, and I decided to go to the meeting just in case, and I'm really glad I did, because I got really excited and decided to go again. Our second trip to Belize was with mostly different people. We had a smaller group from Gem State, which included 5 of us seniors this time, and we were joined from a school from Ohio. The work was also completely different from last time. Although it was at the same place, to me it felt like a completely different trip. Our rooms even had air conditioning this time, although I must admit I was not prepared for it and I still got cold. One of the things that we ended up doing was holding a VBS for a local school. The setup wasn't the most perfect. We didn't have all the supplies we needed, and the ratio of staff to kids was extremely unproportional. But the kids had so much fun. My favorite part was talking to them, because we would tell them to come over, and they would come right over, no personal space, and it was amazing. They were goofy and sweet and simply happy to be there. We tried to sing songs with them, but since we didn't know all the songs that they knew, or they didn't know all the songs we knew, we ended up singing their songs. One of theirs was a version of Swing Low. We knew most of the verses, but there were 2 extra verses that I added, and the song ended up extremely stuck in our heads. By the end, we didn't want to leave, and they didn't want us to leave. Some of the girls that I connected with gave me little gifts with snacks, cards, little bracelets, and knickknacks, and they were just all so sweet. Both of these trips were super fun, impactful, and inspirational, and I feel so blessed that I've been able to go on them. They're definitely some of my highest highlights.
what Sophia said, the mission trips were productive and transformative. Despite all the hard work that we did during our stay, we got to be tourists and visit some national landmarks. We went to beaches and places to hang out and parks. But one of the things with traveling around these is it takes forever to get places. There's speed bumps everywhere, slow speed limits, and they just put obstacles in the road that are meant to keep us from going where we're going. I don't like to do that. What's the wrong way? Just different buttons. Big button. You got it. That's better. So there's this ferry. There's a small ferry that we put our cars on. So after waiting about an hour for us to get our cars on the ferry, we put a literal bus on this ferry. And it wasn't electric, so we had to hand crank it across. So we put the bus on it and then sweat and work in the 90-degree weather with huge humidity, get the bus across a small river. It wasn't a large river, it was pretty small. And then we could go on our way. So that was fun, but it just seemed a little bit interesting. It was fun, but the next time we went, they built a highway across. So. We got to visit the Mayan temples and the Mayan ruins. This was definitely a highlight by me. When I walked into the ruin, I was shocked to find there was no security. It was set up so you could climb right up and look around. It's incredible. That was our first trip. We also went to restaurants and ate great, very cheap food. It's not cheap, it's in low quality, but everything, it costs less there because their dollar is worth much less than ours is. $1 American is equal to $2 Belizean dollars. The beach water is very warm, it makes it great for swimming. Where we are here is on the second largest coral reef in the world, off the coast of San Pedro. We visited there too, but I think the largest is in Australia. So this was really cool. The life there was incredible. Not once but twice did we get to go out and swim with the turtles and sharks, looking at the immense beauty of the underwater world, seeing the array of fish and coral life displayed to me, the handiwork of God I'd never seen in that way before. We see life so clearly on earth, but it looks different in the sea, majestic. We went to beaches to swim and have fun afternoons. The water was relaxing and helped us recover from our long days of work. This trip changed my perspective on life and let me see the world in different colors. I can honestly say it opened my eyes to the fact that there is a great need for Christ in the United States and all around the world. And that is what I intend to spend my life doing, is sharing the gospel. I am grateful for the people who organized the trip and the work, and as well as the school that let us stay in their facility. But I will be eternally grateful for the people who donated and willingly gave their money that they earned so I could go both years. It is those who made it a possibility for me and others to go and have our view of the world changed. And I encourage any underclassmen or anybody else who's never left the country to go on a mission trip because it is truly a life-changing experience.
So my favorite thing about this high school is the mission trip. The thing I enjoyed about this mission trip was the hard work. And 'cause I love doing hard work. And even though it was 90 degrees and humid, part of the reason was working together as a team. I love working with people, even if it's hard work. And working with people motivates you to work harder too, because you're trying to work harder than the other person. But when we were in Belize, we put up a voting for a nursing program that the Adventist college was going to have. It was going to be the second nursing school in Belize. There's one in the south, and that was going to be one in the north. And they laid 2,500 lots stop you from going. You need to let God take control of that. And that's what I learned. And yeah, I just wanted to make a difference in someone's life and to have fun.
Music has always been something in my life I could never live without. It's been with me since I was a baby, and it's here with me now. Being at Gem State has opened so many horizons for me, especially the music department. I've had the honor of being in choir for 3 years now, our select choir for 2, as well as earning the Director's Choral Award this year. This class has always been dear to me. Being able to worship and sing a mix of beautiful choral music, learn valuable lessons not only about music but life in general was everything I could ever ask for. I was always excited for every concert because we would always sing such powerful songs. No song was simply just sung, it was felt. And every one of them signified a special place in all of our hearts, and one that would allow them to never be forgotten, especially Moses. Choir and chorale were always the classes I looked forward to at the end of the day. The class where I could exercise my passion and share it with the people I love to be with. But it wasn't simply just the music that made it so special. It was our director. Mr. Anderson is unlike any teacher I've ever met. He's absolutely hilarious and kind in all of our classes. So in the time where he's firm, it's like, oh, we should probably listen. Some of us struggle a bit still, but he was never one to get angry with us. Mr. Anderson is patient, encouraging, and made music so much fun. You could always tell he loved his job, and he made sure that we knew that. We never questioned if he loved us because he never failed to treat us as if we were his own children. And over these past few years, he's earned the title Dad. And I know I can speak for basically everyone when I say that he's someone you can come to for anything. Someone who would never judge you, but listen. I know I was never afraid to mess up or ask questions because he would always say, I'd rather you mess up now than in the concert. It was very comforting. He taught us that music is more than just chords, notes, and voices. It's a language, something that speaks from your heart. I know I'm really gonna miss having him as a teacher, for he has made a huge impact on my experience here at Gem State. He truly brings out the love in our music department. And I thank God every day for blessing us with someone who uses his job to glorify Christ no matter what. I wholeheartedly believe our school has the best music department, but not because of the songs, but because of the people God has supplied us with to lead.
Music is one of God's greatest gifts to humanity. It's the language that everyone can understand, and it can reach places that words alone can't reach. Because of this, music is probably one of the best versions of ministry that we have, and that's why I always encourage people to join music. When I first came to Gem State, the choir was lacking in people in general. There were about 10 people in choir, and by the end of the year, there were only 7 of us. Now, I'm pretty sure most of you have seen a choir before, and I think you can agree with me when I say that there's usually more than 7 people. But despite us only having 7 people, we decided to do something nobody expected. We performed a nearly 20-minute long song of Disney music, and we sang it well, and with passion and confidence. And I believe that's a big reason why the year after that, choir went from having only 7 members to around 30 members. Shout out to Landon, Nathan, and Marissa, and Shaylin, and Lauren. There you are. They were a better singers than guys. And all I knew about myself was that I could sing loud and with confidence, even though it probably wasn't very good. But over the years, I've learned that I was making a difference. People were starting to say that choir was good and asking me if they should join or not. Of course, I always said yes. God gave us voices, and it's the one instrument we were born with. So I think that everyone should be able to sing and get the chance to sing. The Bible says to make a joyful noise. It doesn't say that the noise has to sound good. Just as long as it's joyful, it's good in God's eyes. A singer by the name of Barry Manilow, some of you may know him. He sang a song that has stuck with me for a while now, and it says this in the lyrics. Just one voice singing in the darkness. All it takes is one voice singing, so they hear what's on your mind, and when you look around you'll find there's more than one voice. I've inspired people through music these past couple of years without even realizing it, just by doing what I love to do. People have always told me that if a cool, chill guy like you is singing in choir, then more chill and cool guys will want to sing in choir. And as I've looked around, I found a lot of cool, chill, strong, and confident guy singers singing right next to me. So I think the guy section is in pretty good hands next year, Mr. Anderson. If you mix up all that together, and the girl voices, I guess, and the most awesome and coolest teacher in the world, Mr. Anderson. Thank you. If you get one of the most beautiful sounds of music you can hear, and I can't wait to listen to Jim State's music program, praising God through music in the years to come.
Amen.
Good morning and happy Sabbath, everyone. My name is Brooke Essing. I am the class president for the class of 2025. I've been involved in leadership since I was in 7th grade. That was a while ago, and there are many people that have helped me achieve this, but to not bore you guys, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and start with freshman year. Freshman year, I was also class president. Mrs. Fitting, she was our history teacher that year. She's the one that pushed me to do that. I was a scared little freshman, and so I was intimidated and nervous. But she saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself yet. Since I was involved my freshman year, it helped me not to be scared and to be willing to actually help out in my class. The following year, I was social vice president, and my junior year as well. Along with being social vice president, I was also SA treasurer that year for Student Association, or ASB now. Taking on 2 positions was a lot for me. It was double the stress, double the work, double the meetings, but it was also double the fun. And I loved every minute of it, just as equally as it stressed me out. During my junior year, I also added on the responsibility of being the RA at the dorm. Some of you guys, if you've been here, you probably know what that is. It's basically just a resident assistant, kind of like a student dean, just a person to help out with the students that are living in the dorm. It was definitely not easy all the time, and I didn't know how much the job would mean to me by the end of the year. There were several times where I literally carried a couple of girls to their rooms because they were getting a little bit of extra slant. You guys know who you are, but you can all laugh about it. This job has taught me so much over the years. It's taught me patience, how to work with others, how to be flexible, and how to have good communication skills. My junior year was also the year where the grow in my faith because God was able to use me and the others in the group to put on that program. While I certainly am not the only leader in the class, I can definitely say that I was involved. I'm sure that I'm not the only person who has been impacted by our involvement in the school. Most of us have been a leader whether we know it or not. Maybe it was just shown through helping an underclassman with their homework or navigating the halls to get to a class, or being a team captain for basketball, or being ASB president this year during the Kindle. Either way, our class has been involved in leadership since the beginning, and I hope that that will not change as we head off into the next chapter of our lives.
Good morning, everyone. As I stand before you today, I am reminded of how powerful sports are in our community. For me, volleyball is not just a game. It is a journey that teaches us valuable life lessons and helps us form connections that last a lifetime. From the very first practice of the year, we gather as a team, each one of us bringing our own unique strengths and personalities. I have the privilege of being team captain this year of our volleyball team, and this will allow me to witness firsthand the growth and development of my teammates. I watched as some of them found their voice in the huddle, learned the importance of trust and teamwork, because volleyball is more than just hitting the ball over the net. It is learning how to rely on one another, and how to communicate. We learn to call out plays and support one another in moments of intense pressure. And these skills went far beyond the court, and they impact our everyday lives. As the school year progressed, volleyball not only taught us the physical strengths of playing volleyball, but also learning how to manage our time by balancing practices, games, and our studies. And it was heartwarming to see our student body rally us behind the scenes. The cheers and encouragement from our fellow students created an atmosphere of unity and camaraderie. Sports at GSAA are more than just competition. They're about building connections, fostering friendships, learning the values of teamwork, communication, and time management. Volleyball and the support of our student body have shown me the importance of being there for one another, on and off the court, in all aspects of life. Because that's what I find special about GSAA. No matter the score, we cheer one another on, just like how God's love is always constant, no matter our contribution. The school cheered us on even when we didn't feel like we deserved it. I'll always love and remember the school for its agape love and support. And before I close this section, I'd like to say thank you to the student body for always helping us lift our heads high, and for my team for showing me what it means to be together. And thank you for the faculty and students who showed us what God's love truly looks like.
Since I was a little kid, I always had a ball in my hand. Sports have been my life, and it's one reason why I came to Gem State. Throughout the 4 years at Gem State, I played basketball, baseball, and I did cross country for 1 year. Those were honestly the best memories I could ever have. It's hard to believe that I've been playing sports since I was 5 years old, and I'm saying goodbye to something that has been part of me. But I couldn't have asked for a better 4 years than this. For us senior boys, we didn't just have basketball and baseball as something to do. It was our passion, something we could play every day after school. Always asking Sule to open the gym. I mean, this gym is our home. Spending hours upon hours, having fun together. Even when we go on trips, we always would try to see if there was a gym around where we could hoop. Our athletics may not be the best, but we've impacted so many people, I feel like, in our league. I honestly am really going to miss playing basketball and baseball for GSAA. Because when I was little, I dreamed of playing for Gem State. And now, my dream has finally come true. But sadly has come to an end. The GSAA basketball has made a great impact in my life. I honestly wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for the sports at GSAA.
miss, honestly, the fans that have been there for us. I mean, it didn't matter what the score was. They would just cheer us on, always saying, "Let's go Jaguars." When I joined the Jaguars, we didn't just treat each other as teammates, but as brothers, holding each other accountable and being there for each other. It's what I love about basketball and baseball. Not just playing the sport. You're creating a united family here at GSAA. But, of course, there are many memories that I've had along the way. One good memory was when I went to Walla Walla tournament my freshman year and played against San Gabriel. At the time, San Gabriel was in the same league as LeBron James's son, Bronny. Of course, most of these players, you can tell, they're probably going to go to the NBA. But the first play of the game, they threw an alley-oop, and of course, they crushed us. So, but it was one of the best tournaments I can be part of. Another memory actually happened this year was making 25 points in the Walla Walla tournament against Fraser Valley and getting the all-tournament award. There have been so many memories that I will take on forever. But there can also be some bad memories that make you wonder if God is putting you through a test. I've had a few injuries throughout my 4 years. For instance, freshman year, I was playing my first game in basketball for Jaguars. During that game, I decided to stretch my leg out to try to save the ball before it went out of bounds. But my knee ended up hyperextending. I heard a pop, and I knew I did something wrong. A week after the game, I went to the doctor and they said that I tore my meniscus, and I tore my tibia and tibia in my knee. The doctor said I would be out for a month or so. My season only had a month and a half left. I felt like basketball days were over. I mean, it was only my freshman year. I started doing therapy, and I was able to come back 2 weeks after the accident. But I would have never played that season if it wasn't for my teammates being there for me and helping me to never give up. Like the verse in the Bible that says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," Philippians 4:13. Of course, without God's help, I would have never been able to play 2 weeks later. As I mentioned, I've had a few injuries throughout my 4 years at GSAA. One of my worst ones didn't really happen during the basketball season, but it turned into a permanent injury. It was actually due to a little fight with the tabletop. I ended up actually amputating my finger right before my first game of my senior year of basketball. And I mean, honestly, I thought it was over. Like, senior year was just wiped for sports. But I ended up playing 2 weeks later after the accident. And I honestly wouldn't have been able to play if it wasn't for God's help and for the teammates that have been there for me, supporting me and helping me through it. You know, Kobe once said, the most important thing is to try and inspire people so that they can be great in whatever they want to do. I think that's something that I hope I did at GSAA. Because when I'm on the court or on the field, I'm not only playing for GSAA, but I'm playing for God. Even though I've gone through a few injuries and an amputation, I don't let that stop me from playing sports. That's why I love GSAA sports, because we inspire others, and we are a united family, and we are there for each other. I'm honestly going to miss every moment that I got to be a Jaguar. I just want to say thank you to all the GSAA fans. You guys have truly been amazing fans. I really am going to miss you guys. I love you all. Remember, once a Jaguar, always a Jaguar. Thank you.
times in the dorms, we'll have to be the front benches out on the weekends with the Saturday dorm students. One story I'll quickly tell you, but I won't take up the whole time. Happened this year. So on this particular day, it wasn't too cold or too hot. I knew where we were going. We were going to a dam up north from here, and I've been there quite a bit. I walked across the dam when I got there with a few of my friends. And, sorry. Now, when we got to the place I thought was going to be a great place to swim, Katie McConnell piped up and said, "You should just swim across the river to the small island and back." I thought it was crazy. I looked at it like it was crazy. I was like, "You might as well just swim to Hawaii and back." Goodness. We finally got into the water, and when we started swimming, unbeknownst to us, the people at the other side of the dam just started eating our lunch. So we made it across with a little hiccup or two that I'll keep to ourselves. If you want, you can talk to us later about it. We finally made it there and back. When we got back out, it was real cold and wet. We finally made it back over to the other side, and even though our lunch was cold and wet, it was probably the best lunch we've ever had. I've always appreciated that my friends and mentors are always up for adventures. People here are friends and family that I'm truly going to miss. I undoubtedly believe that God made this place to be like family for me. I've never connected with so many friends and mentors that have shown me a bigger picture of God and have taught me to be myself in the long run. Throughout the time here, the experiences have matured me to become a better version of myself. Thank you, GSAA Born family. You mean a lot to me. A lot to me. Love y'all.
Because your trip was not only a time for sightseeing, but it was a time of connection. In London, we got to see the changing of the guards, the palace, the London Eye, and Big Ben, and there were a bunch of statues outside Big Ben, which consisted of Gandhi, which helped with world peace there, and then you had Abraham Lincoln, and you also had Winston Churchill, very important.
And on the way to Paris from London, I had an unfortunate experience where I had a mediocre allergic reaction. So I don't really remember much because I was coming back at the time. But we did see the Eiffel Tower during the day and during the night, which was really cool. And we were also some of the first people to walk through Notre Dame after it had reopened to the public, and then we went to the Louvre and the Palace of Versailles.
And then in Switzerland, although there wasn't much architecture there was a lot of beauty. And we went to one of the mountaintops, and sadly we couldn't see anything because of all the clouds and fog. But it was still very cool, and what a beautiful sight it got to be. And that is a dying, or sad, kind of dying line, which represented the people that were protecting Switzerland, which we love.
In Germany, we went to a chocolate factory, as you can see. We went to Dachau, which is a closed concentration camp, and then we saw the castle that the Disney castle was based on, which was really cool.
And then in Germany, which was our last place that we visited on this excursion, it was my
experience with many opportunities to learn new things and to make connections with other people. Throughout the entire trip, Mr. Waterhouse had a competition set up through an app called Goose Chase, and he set up different tasks for us to complete for points with photo proof. The first day was great for nerds, although not very interesting for other people. I thought it was pretty interesting. I learned a lot, but it wasn't exactly something I like to learn about. We visited the Intel Museum, Googleplex, Apple Campus 2, and the History of Computers Museum. At each place we learned different things about how technology works and interesting history behind how we've come this far in learning. The next day we went to the Marine Mammal Center and learned about the steps that they take to rescue elephant seals off of the beach, which I found really cool. We got to see the baby ones that they're raising there and hear the screams that they have, which are terrifying. And I learned that they use them in different movies such as Jurassic Park and The Lord of the Rings. We then went to the California Academy of Sciences and got to see different animal displays and learn some of the history of the Earth. They have an albino alligator on display, and one of the goose chases was to get a photo of the whitest person next to it. Day 3, we walked across the Golden Gate Bridge, and it was super windy, but it was a clear day, so we could see to San Francisco and Alcatraz, and I thought it was really pretty. Seeing the towers up close was super cool. I didn't realize how huge they really were until I was next to them. And after that, we spent the rest of the day at Six Flags, having fun riding on the different roller coasters and seeing the animals that they have there. It was really fun, but the lines were really long, and I didn't expect that. And we waited 2 hours for one of them. Saturday, we went tide pooling, and many of us had fun looking at crabs, starfish, and anemones. Some kids had more fun than others. I thought it was kind of mediocre. I don't know. I'd seen stuff before there, but it was really cold. We spent time on the beach that afternoon playing volleyball, making sandcastles, swimming in the waves, and some of us slept on the sand. It was really, really windy, and so running around on the beach, you get the sting of the sand against your legs, so that was interesting. And swimming in the waves, there were a few of us that decided that we would try swimming out past where the waves like crash down, so you're like going down the waves, and I didn't exactly almost die, but it was not a fun experience. Sunday we went to the Exploratorium in Alcatraz. I think everyone had fun in the Exploratorium. It's really hands-on. You get to see how different things work by learning it yourself and doing it. There are many interactive displays, and some of the things we're learning about like light, physics, how sound works, weather, and even human emotions and interactions. At Alcatraz, we were able to take an audio tour of the cell house and learn the different experience of inmates and how some of them escaped. And I don't know how they did that, but I guess they dug with spoons that they had in the cells and got out. It was really cool seeing the cells up close and seeing where there used to be dangerous criminals. And since the island is protected as a state park, the birds there are also protected, and there were so many of them. They were everywhere. And it was inevitable that a few of us were going to get bird poop on us, so one of the adults, Jackie, just asked Waterhouse if he could make it so that we could get points for it, so that was nice. And there were quite a few of us. That night we went to Pier 39 for dinner, and we got to look around at the different stores. And then on our last full day, we went to the Henry Crowell Redwood State Park, and Mr. Waterhouse gave us a tour. And I didn't realize how much he knew about all that stuff, and it was really cool learning about it. He showed us an albino tree there that not many people know about, and slugs, and a tree that had been struck by lightning, and all of us fit inside the trunk, and that was really, really cool. He did point out bay leaves to us, which many of the boys had fun sniffing and giving themselves headaches, so that was interesting. After that, we went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. There were super cute otters, sharks, rays, turtles, and different types of fish. All of them were sea life found along the California coast, and I always sea life really cool and interesting. It was fun to walk around and see the variety that the ocean has. Driving back home, we stopped by the Jelly Belly factory. We didn't have time to take a tour, but we got to go into the gift shop that they have there and see all the different types of jelly beans. And some people got some gross ones or weird ones that you don't normally find in the store. Overall, Step Trip was a great experience. It was tons of fun to bond with new people and further enhance the connections that we already have with people, spending time. Thank you, Mr. Waterhouse, for putting that together and how much work that was. It was a great experience.
Morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about senior survival. As everyone knows, that senior survival is a trip that every senior goes in the beginning, and everyone goes into it thinking that it's scary. I mean, I get it. I was like that too. You're out in the woods. You have to make your own food. You have to make your own fire. You have no signal, and the hospital is like so far away. All these things make you terrible. But this trip changed my senior year. It brought our class together and made us one big family. Our class learned how to trust each other, and I learned many things on this trip from the adventures we've been. But most importantly, it taught me how to be friends and how to trust other people. The most important thing about our class is we trust each other and we learn our strengths and weaknesses through this trip. And I'm very thankful I got to go on this trip. I'm glad to make my experience in GSAA for me.
Okay. I'm going to pray, so please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing everyone here safely. Thank you for all the stories that appear as our God. And thank you for the class of 2025. Please be with us for church and for the big day tomorrow. Thank you for leading the class of 2025 as we go from here. Help us remember the ways you have worked for us. We love you, Lord.